Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Shit's about to hit the fan. Welcome to Unsanctioned Thursdays on Wrestling with Freddie.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unsanctioned Thursdays. This week, we have Teal Piper and her in-ring partner and real-life partner, and yes, it's official, Deimos, our indie talent spotlight today. Welcome to the show. How are both of you? And thank you for being a part of the show.
Thanks for having us. We're good.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Let's just start at the very beginning. And before I get into any kind of personal questions, I want to talk wrestling with you first. What brought the two of you together into this business? And how much fun is it to be healthy in wrestling?
Well, I guess that answer is personal too. Because
well, then good.
Yeah, well, we knew each other before wrestling. Her dad trained me when she tried to get into the business. I ended up training her.
Yeah.
So I knew her through her
Who's
dad.
your dad?
Oh,
Anybody
stop
you've
it.
heard of?
Roddy Piper.
That's right, man. I had the pleasure of meeting your father. I even had the pleasure of seeing him perform stand-up comedy at the Improv, which was a club my father opened. The very first comic to ever perform at the Melrose Improv was my dad back in the 1970s.
Really? I didn't know that. I love
Yeah,
that
well,
place.
he unfortunately passed away when I was very, very, very young. So past my generation, not many people know him. But I remember both the good things and the bad things that came with being a legacy kid, right? And following in the footsteps of one of the greatest to do it. And that's how my father was regarded. That's how your father is regarded. I want to, if we could, and if anything's too personal, just tell me to shut up and I'll shut up. But I was wondering if you could talk about the blessings that come with it, but also the speed bumps and the challenges that come with that as well. Because I know how difficult it was at times for me and how easy it was at times for me.
Absolutely. You know, I always tell people that when you're a legacy, doors will open quicker for you, but they'll also shut twice as fast.
Jesus, that's the truth.
Right? So like, whereas a lot of people get a chance to grow and evolve as a talent before anyone's really looking at them seriously, or they're getting attention from people wanting to watch their, work, whether it be comedy or, movies or wrestling in this case. So you don't really get that opportunity before you're kind of getting that spotlight on you. So it feels like there's a much steeper curve and everyone's always expecting you to follow in their footsteps in some way. So finding that balance of developing myself, while wanting to fulfill my legacy and make my dad proud, but knowing that I'm also my own person has been an ongoing experience in life. I think it's going really well. I'm just trying to stay true to myself and learn as much as I can about his work and everyone else's and develop myself.
I have one more question, Jeff, and I'll let you jump in there. Are you guys, I love when real life couples work together in the ring as well. I loved when Cardona and Chelsea were doing it before Chelsea went to WWE. Obviously the greatest one ever is Macho and Elizabeth, although I kind of like Scary Sherry too. Have you guys been able to work that into a story, into what you guys are doing yet, or is it still fairly separate?
Right now we're doing everything together. So we're a stable House of Heathens, and it kind of works really well. I think that we complement each other and our characters and our strengths and weaknesses, and everything just comes together really well in the ring, and it's fun. There's nothing more fun than getting to look over and see your partner and be like, and tag them,
That's great. Go ahead.
Plus,
Go ahead, Deimos.
Yeah, this business just has a lot of bumps in the road, and it's nice to have someone that you actually can truly trust when you're out there.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I'm with that. My wife and I have worked together as well, and we haven't done it often, but it definitely, when shit goes bad, it's nice to have the one person you trust the most there for you. Go ahead, Jeff.
Well, Teal and Deimos, I am not married. I've never worked with a partner. I ain't got nobody like that to identify with for these stories. And my parents were losers, not famous. They didn't, I can't identify with that either. However, your dad was a great man, and I got to meet him many times. I'm a comedian. And so when he was trying to start doing stand-up comedy, there's so many wrestling fans in comedy. Every one of us comics are big like wrestling nerds. We'll use any little bit of success we can to meet a wrestler or leech our way into these wrestling things. And comedy was perfect because he wanted to learn the business. And since we were already whatever, long story short, I got to work with your dad multiple times. I was one of the hosts on Wrestler House. He was the man. Cool. He was so nice to everyone. And he would always be like, what, you want to put on my Hall of Fame ring? Like he was so
Come
generous.
on, you never even told me that, you jerk.
Yeah. And he was he was the man. He would sign a bunch of stuff and be like, Jeff Dye's teaching me stand-up comedy and like all this different stuff. So wow. I had very dear memories of your father. That is not related to my question. I just felt like, awesome. To let him live on. I'm sure you're tired of all those type of stories, but he was the best. And he was so cool. And very funny in an old guy way, in my opinion. Like he would be very, I don't know how to say that any different way, but he would he didn't recognize me right away. Like he didn't recognize me right away when I did Wrestler House, even though we had like 20 interactions and I was in the past. And then in the middle of shooting, he was like, wait a minute. Hey, Jeff, right? And I was like, yeah, and he ruined the whole take. He ruined the whole shoot. Yes. And he stood up and he's like, this guy's a comedian. I worked with that. Oh my gosh, this guy is. And it was hilarious that he had like no regard for any kind of like systems. He was just a sweet man first. And I loved that about him. But
that sounds just like him.
Yeah, he was the best. My question is that I read that you were an actress, right?
Yeah.
And I was gonna have it ready to go, all the things you were in, but do you love horror films? Are you a horror person? Are you guys into horror films?
Of course I love horror films, and I did some low budget ones back in the day and kind of kept getting typecasted into those. That was before I went into wrestling, of course, but I think that it gave me a nice bridge over into wrestling as far as a base to start with,
I'm obsessed with horror movies. I do another podcast that's just about horror movies. It's all we friggin' talk about. I love that you did ones like Beverly Hills Massacre, Psycho Sleepover. I mean, I love Roger Corman's a hero to me. So I love like the low budget movies and horror does that better than anyone. I love when things are great. I love when they're bad. I love when they're in between. I just love horror movies all the way around.
They're the most fun to shoot for sure.
I'm telling you, I got to do one and then I never got to do another one ever again until this November. I'll probably be doing another. I know what you did last summer if the contract's not that close, but I did one in the 90s and all I wanted to do was another one. And instead I just got to do little rom-coms instead of doing scary movies.
And scary movies are the best.
It's the one genre too that like if it is low budget, it still could be really good.
Absolutely.
Like, every other thing you go, this is like low budget, turn it up.
Or so bad that it's great. Yeah.
There's a win-win across the board.
No, like I don't know if you guys have seen like a movie like Evil Dead, but like the first Evil Dead, Sam Raimi made that for like $5 and a camera that he owned, and he's like running with the camera and then fooling with the film to make it look. That movie legit was like $50, and it's one of my favorite horror films, and it started a whole franchise just off this one tiny little idea. And I always think horror and professional wrestling, for whatever reason, are this like perfect weird mixture, and the fans seem to always love one another as well. Have you come across that too?
Definitely. I can see it all, both in like elements of it in the story writing or how you sell, as well as just the feel sometimes.
Yeah.
Whether you're on a horse or in wrestling, sometimes it feels the same.
Tell people where they can find you guys, and if you have any upcoming dates coming up that you want to throw out as well, because this is literally going to come out on Thursday, so it'll be good timing.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm on Instagram at Teal Piper, at Ariel Teal on Twitter. And we have the big event in New York coming up. Everyone tends to go to those. It's a lot of fun. So we're looking forward to that.
And I'm official_Deimos on Instagram and real Deimos on Twitter.
You guys, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to get to meet people chasing dreams, people that are hungry, at all levels of this game. And this is a segment that our producer wanted to do. And ever since he's done it, it's been really, really rewarding. And I really love getting to talk to people like y'all. So thank you for doing the show. Thank you, everybody out there, for listening. Tune in every Wednesday and every Thursday, or whenever you like to listen to us. Thanks very much. On behalf of Jeff Dye, I'm Freddie Prinze Jr. Bye.
This has been a production of iHeart's My Cultura Podcast Network. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.